We're starting a new chapter now, and we've got a new drawing for you as usual, and it's called Hatching Gradients.dwg. You will obviously recognize the drawing from previous chapters in the course, and what we're doing obviously is moving from chapter to chapter and saving what we've done in previous chapters. You can see that in the model tab in the drawing on the screen. Now, hatching and gradients in AutoCAD, what are they used for? Well, the main thing they're used for is to highlight objects on your AutoCAD drawings. So you might use hatching to highlight an area. You might also use hatching, perhaps, to create attractive aesthetics within your AutoCAD drawings as well. We're going to look a little bit at both. Now, in our drawing, hatching gradients.dwg, in the Home tab on the ribbon, just make sure you are using the furniture layer initially. So we want our furniture layer. And what we're going to do, we're going to zoom into the top right corner here on the big conference table that you can see, this one here like so. And we're going to utilize the hatch command to give us a nice wood pattern on the table. So we go over to the Draw panel on the Home tab on the ribbon, click on the flyout, and there's Hatch there. Now, Hatch used to be a dialog box in older versions of AutoCAD. Newer versions, it's now a contextual tab in the ribbon. And you'll notice it highlight there on the top of the screen. So we're in our Hatch Creation tab. Now, we're going to be using a pattern. So you'll notice there you've got a choice of solid, gradient, or pattern. We'll cover gradient in a moment. And I'm going to look at the patterns here and scroll down. Now, there's lots of different standard patterns provided, as you can see as I click on the arrows. And as I come down, there is actually a wood pattern. But you can see there's the gradient fills there as we come down. Lots of different types of patterns available to you. And as I get down to the bottom, you've got things like zigzag, user, and so on. So I can potentially apply any different type of pattern here. And the sort of pattern I'm looking for is something like a zigzag that makes this table stand out. Now, if I keep coming up, you can see we've got gravel there, for example, honeycomb. All of these allow you to represent objects within your AutoCAD drawings. Now, the sort of pattern I'm looking for is something like this, the earth pattern. Now, you'd use the earth pattern to represent a cross-section through earth normally, but I want a nice, dense pattern that stands out. So you've got things like herringbone and parquet flooring and so on. And as I come further up, you've got concrete, brickwork, and so on. I actually really like this one, ANSI 37. So I'm going to use that as my inlay on my table. Now, this might be a wood pattern. It might possibly be a ceramic pattern or even a Formica type pattern to make the table kind of washable and waterproof. But the idea being is I want that pattern right there. So what I do now is I go to pick points. Now I can use select as well. I can select a boundary object because here I've actually got a rectangle, a polyline. So if I went to select, like so, it would prompt me to select the object I want to hatch. Or if I did pick points would be inside. As you can see there, it starts to highlight and it looks really dense. That's because I need to edit the hatch scale here. I'm going to change that to say 200 and press enter. And then when I come in here, you'll see, can you see it's starting to get a little less sort of dense there? So we just need to keep increasing that number until we get a hatch pattern that we're happy with. Now, hatching is a bit of a black art, to be perfectly honest. It's one of those ninja skills that you need to learn. So 500 is looking reasonable. Let's go for 1,000. And when I press enter there for that scale, and there we go. That's the sort of hatch pattern I'm looking for. So when I click now, it'll hatch that, press enter to finish, and I've utilized the hatch command for my table. And as you can see, my table now stands out. Now, I could go and find a wood pattern if I wanted to and incorporate that, but that for me stands out and it's on the furniture layer because the table is also on the furniture layer. Now, we might want to hatch an area that stands out as well. So I'm just going to pan across a little bit. And you'll remember in one of the previous videos, we placed a square polygon, didn't we, here to mark an area on the stairs. So what we might want to do here is have a safety layer. So in the Home tab on the ribbon, we go to Layer Properties, we create a new layer, and we'll just call it Safety for now. Like so, Safety. And Safety is normally indicated with like a red hazard type color. So I'm going to go for red, and click on OK. Keep it as continuous and default as well. Select the safety layer, click on the green tick. We'll make that the current drafting layer as well. Close the layer properties manager. Now, this went originally, if I remember rightly, on the furniture layer when we created it. I'm going to click on it, click on the layer drop down and pop that onto the safety layer and just hit escape there a couple of times to deselect. We're going to go back to the hatch command now. There's hatch there. Our hatch creation tab appears. And look, you can see now when I hover over, it's trying to hatch using the pattern we've previously set. I'm going to go up to the top of the list in the pattern panel using the arrows, and I'm going to use just the standard ANSI 31. ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute, by the way. So if I click there, come in there, there's a nice hatch there. It's using that 1000 hatch scale. It's remembered it. So I click there like so, enter to finish, and I've now hatched that area, and it's a hazardous area. We don't want the staircase blocked for safety reasons, as you can see. But what you'll also notice is there's a weird little bit here where the hatch doesn't meet the line, so to speak. Why is that happening? Well, if I click on this little piece of text, can you see there the text is coming into the hatch, and the hatch is designed to avoid text, so to speak. So if I went back to my hatch and clicked on it here, you'll notice you've got things like set origin, associative. If I click on the options there, you've got outer island detection in place. So it'll look for an island basically around that text. Can you see that? So that's why those lines don't quite match up. I'll close the hatch editor now, and I'm going to double click on the wheel to zoom extents. But as you can see, when you zoom out now, that table and that safety area by the stairs really stand out on the drawing purely because you've added some hatch patterns to your AutoCAD drawing.